there's a saying, in the land of the blind, the one-eyed man is king. How many of you heard that before? Very apt. In the land of the blind, the one-eyed man is king. You don't have to be Jeff Walker or Frank Kern or Eben Pagan. You just have to know a little bit more than they do in terms of the marketing. The rest of it's, as Ray said, as Dan said, it's all in the course. You just have to internalize this. Your ability, Ray just said this, your ability to make this work rests on where your head's at, your self-assurance, your presentation, your ability to say your price, to ask for your price. I don't even like to use the term ask. I tell, this is what it is. Sorry if that doesn't work for you. Again, I mentioned this before. It basically comes down to the value. It comes down to understanding the value you're going to deliver. They're just a content person. They're just an expert. Experts are a dime a dozen. You go to Amazon.com and look at all the books. There's a lot of books on Amazon.com. Type in anything you can think of, and there's going to be like a dozen books on it. Those people are all experts. None of them are selling books, okay? They got their book done. They spent months of their lives pouring it into it, and I congratulate them on it. That's a big deal to write a book. And then they thought that they're going to actually sell books or make money, That's the part no one told them about. Now they got this book out there that they spent their life on, and nothing's happening, okay? They ain't making money. They ain't selling books. They can still bring it to, to dinner at Thanksgiving dinner and show, their relatives that they wrote the book. But no one asks them, are you selling any of them? Maybe they do. They're not selling any of them. There's a lot of experts out there, all kinds of experts, and they're not making money. Experts everywhere. Once you do one deal, one client, have one success story, the word spreads like wildfire. You're going to have so many of these content people come into you, and you're going to think back to this, and it's like, Jeff told me about that. We said, right now, there might be some people in the room thinking, wow, if someone's got a cool website, and it looks like it's pretty successful, and it's really fancy, and looks nice, and they're willing to give me, if I just come in and help them with their marketing, they're willing to give me just 20% of their business, and well, yeah, they don't have any money to pay me up front, but that doesn't matter because look at this cool website. I'm going to get 20% of that business. I could do this all over the place and get 20% of this, but it's going to be great. No, it's not great. You get paid up front because none of them are making money. You got to find, there's so many, you got to find the one that's making money, and then you get in your headspace and you tell them what it's going to cost to work with you, and it's not cheap. And if they laugh at you, then it's next. Think about things a little differently. And you got to think a little differently when you're out in your business. You're not among the mortal. You are on a different plane from people. And, I'm not a big ego. I think you get that from me. I don't have this huge ego, but I know what I know. And I know how to teach what I know, and I know the chops I've got, and I know what I can do to someone's business when I go in and do that launch, and that's where you guys are going to be. Another thing is, one of the things that stops a lot of people is, how do you get that first client? What if, they're not going to want to be my first client. I've never had one before, okay? So how do I get that first client? How do I work with that first person? What about when they ask me if I'm their first client? Well, you know what? Yesterday, or the day when I flew out, Monday, I flew out, and one of the last things I did was I went to my chiropractor. He got an adjustment because I'm going to be in planes, all cramped up, and so I got an adjustment. And the guy, if you ever think about it, anyone go to a chiropractor in here? You're laying there, and this guy, Tom, he can basically just snap my neck right off. Literally. I'm laying there, and I'm like, and you know what? At some point, he had a first client, right? Didn't he? He had a first client. And arguably, his first client was a lot more important than your first client. A few years ago, I broke my leg skiing. telemarketing. Broke my ankle. I went in, that guy, surgery, plates, screws, pins, all kinds of stuff. The surgeon did a wonderful job. At some point, he had a first client, right? Didn't he? Everyone's got a first client. Everyone works through their first client, right? Now, when I'm laying there and he's putting pins and screws and stuff in me, or when Tom's adjusting my neck, if I was his first client, if I'm his first client, do I want him to be thinking about, oh, this is my first client, I hope I don't screw this up? No, I don't, right? And you can't worry about that because you're going to have a first client and a second client and a third client. They're not going to ask you, if you go in and you present yourself properly, and just like Dan and Ray talked about, you work with that client, you're just doing PLF for them, just doing product launch formula for them. It's going to work. It's going to work fine. They're not going to ask you if you're client number 1 or 100. It will not happen. And the people that have done launches in this room will tell you that, because you're that one-eyed man in the land of the blind. You know what's going on. You've studied. You've done the hard work. You've done the hard work here in this training. You know what to do. It's not about, they're not going to ask you those questions. You don't even have to worry about it. And if they do, you probably have they're the wrong person for you, and you have the wrong relationship with them, and you probably shouldn't be working with them. I talked about this. We're going to talk about attracting people to you. And this isn't the law of attraction stuff, but you setting up your marketing so people come to you, and after you just get one client, all you need is one client, you get that first client, and then you're going to be overwhelmed with business coming your way. Believe me. Everyone who does this sees the same thing. Right? So you're going to have all this business coming to you. Now, when it's coming to you and you're not selling them, like I said, there's some people that can sell really well in here. Brute force selling. And you can sell by brute force. But when you do that, you're not going to have any authority with the client. When they come to you and it's a takeaway sale, and it's like, yeah, I'll see if I can, slot you in. I'll see if we can find a spot. We're definitely not going to be able to work with you for at least like 3 months. You'd have to pay me now to get that spot 3 months from now. But I think we can get you in there. Let's talk about this. We'll go through this whole selection process. At that point, it's a takeaway sale. Now, you guys all know that I love takeaway sales. I mean, that's what product launch formula, a lot of that is. It's about the takeaway sale. That's like, you need me more than I need you. That's a much more powerful position. But the thing is, it's not just a powerful position to sell from. That goes through into the working relationship, because then when you do that takeaway sale, you've got huge authority. You've got that authority, then they're going to do what you tell them to do. Because, it really, I've had some great clients, and some of my clients have actually gone on to become good friends of mine. But in some cases, okay, I'll go ahead and just say it. If you had a decent trained monkey, that's all you need. I mean, if you're coming in there to do that launch and you got a good trained monkey that just does what you're going to tell him to do, and go out and create this video, go out and create that video, here's the email to send your list, it'll work. But you got to have the authority with that monkey, right? It's not going to work unless you have that authority. When you're pitching people, you don't have authority. When they're coming to you, you have authority. Now, that's what you're doing in this business, is you're selling money at a discount. It's that simple.